Welcome back, guys. After a long time, I'm back with a product visualization tutorial. In this video, I'll show you how to create this beautiful lamp starting from a simple sketch. Step by step, we'll turn that sketch into a complete 3D model and then create the final high-quality renders you're seeing on the screen. So, without further ado, let's get started. I have set up all the folders here. These are the references that we are going to kind of recreate. By the way, this sketch that we will take as a base is by Robin. She is an amazing product designer who thinks and sketches these ideas. So I took this sketch of her lamp design as a base. You will find all the links to the references and the sketch image link of her profile in the description. So now let's copy this reference image and take it into 3ds Max and make it in front. First, what we will do is go to Google and search for basic desk lamp size. Then we are going to this AI mode. So here we have the basic height of the lamp, which is around 22 to 26 inches, and the base width is around 6 to 8 inches. This is just for reference, so we can create this lamp with proper proportions. According to this, I'm going to experiment. Let's set different sizes and see which one works best for our lamp. So I think this 152 millimeters by 508 millimeters size is good. 152 is the radius and 508 millimeters is the height. I set this up here. This kind of stuff comes with practice. When you make a lot of models like this, at some point you will develop the skill to eyeball the model with proper proportions. Now I want to say this. We don't always have to stick exactly to reference measurements in order to model. Later, we are going to start modeling this lamp. As you can see, I'm using scaling and stuff to get a slightly proportionate model. Now what I'm going to do is copy this cylinder, then I'm going to start modeling with a little bit of eyeballing, because now that we have the basic proportions of the model, we don't need to model everything by exact measurements. Unless you have specific measurements from a client, then yes, you should do that. But at this stage, I don't think we need to. So yeah. Now I'm going to copy the same cylinder up and make it smaller. Next, I'm going to create a spline, and with this spline, I'm going to trace this part. Basically, what is happening here is that I'm eyeballing this part because we don't have specific measurements. I'm going to see what works and what doesn't. Also, this sketch is a little bit in perspective, so we won't be able to see exact corner lengths from the center. So again, we have to eyeball it. Now what I'm doing is exactly that, little by little. First I'm making a basic shape, and then you slowly adjust the shape as you want it to be. That's exactly what I did. I made the basic shape, and now I'm doing a bit of measurement just to keep each side even. Now we will use fillet on the outer corners. I'm going to select these outer vertices and apply fillet like this. Then I'll select the inner vertices and apply a smaller fillet, or nothing very hard like before. After that, I'm going to select all the vertices and use weld. I will turn on enable in renderer and in viewport option so we can see the spline. It's a little low poly, so I'm going to increase the sides and also turn on adaptive interpolation so we get smoother curves and pipes. Now let's center everything like it's supposed to be. Let's increase the segments of this bottom cylinder and then add one segment so we get a middle point. Then we'll align all the other parts to the center so we get the exact shape of the lamp. Now I'm copying this cylinder from bottom to top. Earlier I tried creating this shape from a circle, but it didn't work, so I didn't show it here. Now I'm going to add a chamfer at the bottom so it matches the shape in the sketch. Later I'll also add a small chamfer on the top. Now let's go to the default mode and create the top head. For that, let's select a sphere and create a big sphere like this. For reference, you can use this side shape to check the size. You can always compare it with the basic shapes. Now I'm going to rotate this sphere 90 degrees and delete the bottom part. Before that, you need to scale it like this. This is also eyeballing. In modeling, you often have to eyeball things like this. With that, you'll get this kind of shape, and as you can see, it's looking good. Now I'm going to give this top part a shell modifier to add thickness. Then I'll add a chamfer to smooth the bottom edge a little. After that, I'll add a turbo smooth, so it looks much smoother. Now our main model is ready, and I think it's looking good. To match the proportions better, I'm doing small tweaks. I'll select these corners and pull them out slightly so they look better. Let's also add a small chamfer to the top part. Now let's copy this part to the top and increase its height. We're going to use this as a light source. I'll reduce the height of this pipe. Earlier I tried using it as a support, but it didn't look very good. Now let's add a small chamfer to this pipe as well. Yeah, it's looking good. Now I'll copy the chamfer settings to the bottom part and apply it to the entire base. For this section, I'll select the top edges and apply a chamfer so it looks better than before. These small details really help the model look good and also render better. Now I'm going to select the null polygon and do an inset. Then exclude it inward. So later when we apply chamfer, it looks like there is a hole where the pipes go in. Then I'll place this pipe inside the cylinder. Now we have this nice looking shape. The shape looks a little low poly, and increasing the sides won't work because we already edited it. So I'll just apply Turbo Smooth to this bottom part. The top already has Turbo Smooth applied, and it's looking good. At this point, the entire model is ready, but I wanted to add something of my own. I got inspired by the round shapes in the sketch, so I decided to add a small design element. I created a spline and applied the sweep modifier to make these small stem-like supports. They help visually support the lamp. It's not very practical, but I thought it looked good. These little details make the product more interesting. I'm using basic sweep parameters here. If you haven't watched my sweep modifier tutorial, you should watch that video before this one. I go into much more detail there. These supports will have a translucent material later, so they'll look more aesthetic. This kind of modeling takes more adjustment than normal modeling because these small changes are what make it interesting. It also takes time. I can't give you an exact step by step, like move this, then move that. You have to put in your own effort. Otherwise, you won't really learn modeling. Nobody is going to teach you every single step forever. Now I've applied chamfer here and I'm copying the same shape to the other two corners and adjusting them properly. As you can see, I've made two different variations of this lamp to show you how small details can change the overall look. The lamp already looks good with Robin's sketch, but with these extra elements, it looks even better in my opinion. I'm not a product designer, but working in 3D daily gives you some sense of what looks better and what doesn't. It's all based on experience. First, let's save this model file as main model. Then I'll open scene 01, which is our first render setup. Before rendering, I'll collapse all modifiers so we don't run into problems during rendering. I'll also attach all the parts that share the same material. Later, if needed, we can always detach them again. Now I'm going to start making first image render. By the way, guys, this tutorial is part of a full interior visualization learning series I've put together, where I break down the real workflow I use in my day-to-day client projects. I want to be real with you. I've been in this industry for over 5 years, and most of what I've learned didn't come from a fancy degree. It came from online courses, YouTube, and a lot of trial and error. That's exactly why I built my course, Mastering Interior Visualization with Corona, to teach beginners the way I actually use these tools in real projects instead of leaving them stuck with random scattered tutorials. This tutorial you're watching right now is the same way I teach in my course, but inside the course I go even deeper with slower step-by-step explanations instead of fast-forwarded parts. Inside the course, I cover everything you need: modeling, lighting, rendering, post-production, and the full workflow from start to finish that I use in my daily work. So if you like learning like this, and if you want the complete structured training that takes you from beginner to a master 3D visualizer, that's what the course is made for. You'll find the link to enroll in the description. Right now, I'm giving 30% off with the code SAVE30. It's available for a limited time, so grab it while it's there. All right, let's continue the tutorial. Let's take this lamp to the center now. First, let's make a cylinder for the base. As you can see in this reference, it needs a little bit of height. Let's put this lamp on top of the cylinder. Now let's set the camera from the front, just like our reference. Let's align the camera to match it and place it in the center. Also, take to the center. Switch to the camera view window. And let's increase the focal length and move the camera back. Most of the time when we do product visualization, it's better if our focal length is higher, like 80 to 100 or even 120, so our product comes out straight and not very distorted. Let's lock the camera and make sure the image ratio is set to 0.8. Now let's make a plane in the background like this. Now let's make a light from this side. We'll use this light to light up the background plane we created, just like in the reference. Let's place it here like this and start the interactive render. As you can see, the whole scene is getting lit by this light. So what I'm going to do is exclude everything and include only this plane in the light and set it to include mode. This way, the entire plane will be lit by this light and nothing else. Now, what I'm going to do is increase the directionality so we get this strip-like light effect, like you can see in the reference. It's already looking very good. The more directionality you have, the tighter the light fall off will be, so make sure to use it carefully. Now I'm going to apply a basic wall material, which is a stucco material. I don't want the wall to be completely clean, so I'm using a stucco material, and later I'll apply a UVW map with real-world scale turned on. Also, let's set the color according to our lamp color. because we're going to create a sort of themed image with a good mixed tone in the background and a slightly darker green for the product. Let's decrease the height of this cylinder and increase the side segments so it's smooth and like our reference. Now put the chamfer modifier Yeah, now the sides are smooth. Next, I'm going to create a circle and convert it to editable spline. I'll delete these extra edges. Then I'll extrude the shape and intersect it like this. Now I'll add a little shell and a chamfer and rotate it so it looks closer to our reference. Next, I'm going to apply a glass material to this table structure. And as you can see, it's looking good. Now again, I'm going to go to the volumetric scattering absorption color and pick a green color from here. I'll set the distance to 50 millimeters. And now it's looking really good. Then I'm going to create a light on the right side. Now let's remove the directionality from this light and set it properly based on what we want. First, let's add a gradient ramp so we get this smooth fading effect that you can see in the interactive render. As you can see, the fading looks very smooth. Let's decrease the intensity a bit. Now let's set some post effects from the frame buffer. Let's decrease the ACES to 0.40, set highlight compression to 3, and contrast to 3. Let's turn on sharpening and set the sharpening amount to 3% and the blurring radius to 0.50. Now let's add filmic and set it to 0.40. Let's turn on the LUT and set it to 0.40 as well, using this ground controlled grunge LUT. Now let's increase the height of this light so we get instant light from one corner to another and the light strikes nicely. Now let's select this lamp and apply the material. Let's make it metal, set diffuse to 0, reflection to 1, glossiness to 0.7, and I want the IOR to be 99 so it looks metallic. Now let's take this light back so we can adjust the shadows. Always remember to turn off the excluded light, because when it's on, other lights don't pass through properly. Let's exclude this bottom part from this light. Now turn this light to the other side so we get this kind of shadow and light effect on our product. Let's increase the radius. As you can see, it's looking much better. Now I'm making this light much longer because with that, you get better shadows on the desktop part. Always remember this when doing product lighting. Please exclude the backplane. I will not keep saying this again and again because we already fixed the lighting for the backplane and it's looking good. So now I'm only focusing on the product itself. All the lighting we do from now on is focused on the product. Let's make one top light, but I don't think I like this much because it's looking very weird on the top. I'm continuously adjusting the height and position of the light to get better shadows. Now let's put some color into this lamp material so it looks good. We're going to pick a color from the reference sketch and little by little we'll refine it until it looks right. Now let's copy this material, make it look like a gold type metal and apply it to these parts. I'm not sure about this right now, but we'll see. Let's copy this light again and place it somewhere here so it looks like it's coming from the front side. This way the center parts get lit. As you can see, they are no longer too dark. Let's decrease the bump of this back plane because it's too strong. I don't want that much bump on the back wall. Now let's try different colors. Let's try black, but I don't like completely black on this lamp. So I'm going to experiment little by little and see what works and what doesn't. Now let's apply the light material to this inside part that we made for the light. Let's increase the light intensity so it looks better. As you can see, the entire lamp is now getting lit from the inside. Now let's apply Corona color to this light and set the temperature to 4000 or 3000, whatever works best. I think 3500 looks good. Let's increase the intensity. I think around 50 looks good. As you can see, the entire lamp comes together with just this one light source. Now let's go to the scene and turn on the single map. With this, I'll add a little overall light to the scene, around 50 or 100, so the shadows are not completely pitch black. As you can see, it has made the entire image slightly brighter. Most of the lighting is done now. What I'm doing next is some fine adjustments, like balancing front and back lights. Right now, I'm adjusting the light that controls the back plane. These kinds of projects require a lot of attention to lighting. Most of the work actually happens in lighting. Other things matter, but lighting is the most important part. Now let's try something different for this middle part. Let's copy this material and increase the volumetric scattering absorption color. Let's decrease the distance so we can see more color here. As you can see, I'm testing which color works best with this combination. I don't have a fixed idea in mind, just a rough sense of what might work. Now I'm increasing the reflection and decreasing the glossiness. Sometimes 3ds Max doesn't show the material exactly as it will look in the final render, which can be frustrating. This red color doesn't seem to work. Let's try different colors. Green on green might be better. Let's decrease the volumetric scattering distance. Now let's copy this color to our material. I copied the color from the main metal material. Something still doesn't look right. Let's try blue. Blue looks good. A cyan type blue looks very good, actually. Purple also looks nice, but I think I'll stick with blue. Now let's detach these two parts and apply the same black metal material. The idea is that the entire lamp is slightly greenish and these two parts are darker. Let's copy the color from the main green material and make it a bit darker. Now this is looking better. Let's try one more experiment. Let's copy this material and apply it to this top part that we just detached. Let's make it fully reflective, but I don't think it looks that good. I also tried transparency, but that doesn't look good either. Let's try 0.8 glossiness. That looks better, so let's stick with that. Now let's turn off this top light. As you can see, it looks very odd. I don't think it's working, so I'll remove it later. Most of the lighting is done now. What I'm focusing on is getting better reflections on the product. I'm trying to shape the reflections properly. If you want to go step by step like this, you can, but this part is mostly about experimentation. As you can see right now, the reflections are a bit all over the place, so I'm trying to clean them up. This part usually takes a lot of time, and there's no easy way to explain it step by step with voice, because it's very visual and intuitive. Now let's turn off this top light. Now let's take this light in the back, turn off its visibility in direct view, and remove it from the tabletop. The bump on the wall is still too high, so I'm going to lower that. Now let's do the final render of this one. One quick note here, I did some corrections to the lighting off camera, so you might notice some differences in the final render. Keep that in mind, and if you want to download the scene, you'll find the link in the description. Now let's do the second scene. Let's make the cylinder for the base. Now let's create a camera from this side. Let's set this camera in the left side view and place it far away like this. I'm trying to set up the camera similar to what we see in the reference. I'm also trying to get the proper angle, like the reference. Let's start the interactive render so we can see what we have right now. I think this looks good. If we take it from the top, it doesn't look good. So let's turn on automatic vertical tilt and take the camera back. I'm also trying different angles. But I think this angle looks good. Sometimes you also need to rotate the product itself. So that's what I did. Now let's make a plane and place it far away from the product so we can match it with the reference. Now let's delete the material so we can repick them again. Let's apply this white material to the base. Make sure you have applied a chamfer to the base so the corners show up better. Now let's save the scene first. Let's start the interactive render in this view and create a basic material like I'm doing here. There's nothing too complex in this material, just simple reflection and a little glossiness. Now let's put this material into a material override and turn on all the Corona material override settings so we can override certain materials. First, we'll create that right bottom corner light that we see on the plane in the reference. Let's increase the directionality so we can limit the effect of this light. As you can see, this is how I'm doing it. Make sure to set the plane to include mode, so only the plane is affected. Now let's decrease the intensity of this light so it's not too harsh. Let's copy this light to the top as well, so we get a gradient on the top. As you can see, I'm moving these lights to get the desired effect on the back plane, and it's looking beautiful. Now let's make this bottom part black and reflective. As you can see, it's looking very good and interesting. Now let's copy this material and apply it to the plane so we can finalize the back plane material. Let's give it a bluish kind of shade. Now make a sphere light inside, increase its intensity, and make it warmer. Make sure it's not visible directly and balance the inside light properly. Now let's make one plane light. Make sure to exclude the back plane and the bottom cylinder. Remove directionality and color from it. Place it here so we get this kind of reflection on the lamp. Copy this light to the other side and place it here so we get less reflection. Now let's exclude this lamp from the override material. Keep the previous render open for comparison, because a lot of times we need to tweak the materials for each scene. Make sure to turn on visible in reflections for both lights. Now let's make the back plane shade slightly greener. Do the same for the bottom piece as well. Let's make these metal parts a little more green because they look slightly yellow here. Also, decrease a bit of blue from here. Now take this right side light back, make it bigger, and adjust it until you get this kind of shadow. Let's set the left light here like this. Copy this light and place it here. Make it bigger and decrease its intensity. I'm trying to get interesting shadows and reflections from this light on the top and middle of the lamp. Now let's increase the intensity of the lamp's inside light and make sure to turn on the visible in reflections option for this light as well. Right now I'm tweaking the green tone of these metal materials so they look more on the green side. Now let's do some small tweaks in the post settings. Now everything is looking good, so let's render this one too. Let's start the third scene. I have already imported some props from my library. You can do that too, of your own choice. Now first, let's make a box here like this and place it below the lamp. This will work as a base table or something that we are seeing in the scene. Let's create a camera from here and adjust the wooden box below according to our reference. This scene is a little bit angled, so we need to put everything at an angle. Let's see the other props now one by one. This kind of prop placement can only be achieved with practice. Let's rotate this lamp so we get its best angle. I'll use this curtain model here as angled. And let's place this plant here. Let's make this window full like in the reference. To do this, we need to increase the count of these flaps. Let's copy these and move them down while holding Shift. Now let's make a rectangle and rotate it like this. Now detach this edge and give an outline to these remaining edges. Now apply shell to this shape. This box will work as a wall. Now copy this shape and delete these inner vertices and give it a 6-inch shell. Make sure all these walls cover our room like they normally should. Increase the shell value if 10 feet is not working here. Let's fix this curtain. Next, give an outline to this line as well and apply shell so it works as the wall that we see from outside the curtain. Make sure to copy this floor to the top as well. Now these flaps are very open, so we need to fix this. For this, I'm going to give you a tip so you can do it easily. Copy this curtain as an instance. Now rotate it until it is perpendicular to the front or side. Now you can easily select and rotate these flaps. And the best part is that the instance copy will rotate too. So yeah, this is a trick for working with complex areas. Now let's clear everything from the last files, unlock the materials, and start the lighting again. Start the interactive render. First, let's fix the placement of these props a bit. Let's put Corona Sky in the single map slot. I talk about different sky setups in the course. But today, let's just go to the rawa fake mode and pick a color here. I'll pick the color and adjust it until it makes sense. Let's unlock the curtain and apply this material to it. I'm adding translucency to these flaps so they look more like our reference. I'm turning them off and on so I can see which flap angle works best. Let's do one thing here. Move this side hanging bar to the center to bring more detail into the scene, like in our reference. As you can see, more detail always looks better. Let's make a small box here so it works as an outside bar or something similar. Now let's turn on depth of field in the camera and place the focus on the lamp. Set the f-stop to 5 so the other parts blur out. Let's turn on the lighting of this lamp. Exclude this tabletop from it, and apply this wood material to the table. Make sure to turn on real-world mapping so the wood texture displays properly. Increase the lamp lighting make the wood more glossy by increasing the glossiness amount. Let's add a little vignette to the scene. Let's unlock these props and adjust them properly. I'm rotating and moving them to get better angles. Let's unlock these back props as well. Now let's make a sphere light here and include only this sofa so it gets lit from the side. Let's copy this light, make it smaller, and place it here. Make sure to remove the include option from this light. Remove the lamp from this light. I'm mainly after the reflections we get on the table from this light, so I'm setting it up accordingly. Let's exclude the table lamp from the material. Make this inside light bigger and move it down like this. Temperature won't work well here, so let's pick the light color manually. I'm choosing this reddish color from here. Let me quickly fix this cup and book material. Let's copy this light down here and decrease its intensity. I'm trying to add more light in this area. Let's copy this light to this side and increase its size. Now I'm focusing on the lamp material, so let's exclude the sofa from this light. Remove the top of the lamp from this light as well. Now let's make a plain light behind the lamp and place it here like I'm doing. With this light, I'm getting reflections on the right side of the lamp. Now everything is done. I think the camera is a bit too far away, so I'm fixing that by increasing the focal length and moving the camera so all the props and the lamp come together and don't feel too far apart. Now I think everything looks good, so let's do the final render for this one too. So these are the final renders. I really liked how they turned out. It's so fascinating to see the final result of your own imagination every time. If you are someone who is struggling and have some doubt in interior visualization, then make sure to check out my interior visualization with Corona course. It will help you so much, trust me. It's 34 hours of training where I cover every feature in Corona Renderer that is needed in interior visualization, plus full scene creation from scratch with step-by-step audio. Basically, if you want to learn to make renders like this, then this course has everything you need. Right now, I'm giving 30% off with the code SAVE30. It's available for a limited time, so grab it while it's there. The link is in the description. Check it out, and I will see you in the next one.